Hello students. Hello students, I am Pallab Darbari. Welcome you all in my YouTube channel Pallab Darbari Classes. This is my sixth video on the macroeconomics class 12th. The name of the chapter is National Income Accounting. In this video, I will discuss domestic income and the different variants of domestic income. In other words, we can say that in this particular video, I will discuss domestic income and the related aggregates of domestic income. Related aggregates of domestic income or different variants of the domestic income, both are the same thing. Now let us discuss the domestic income. Domestic income can be defined on the basis of production and on the basis of the income. On the basis of the production, domestic income means what? It means net money value of all the goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a period of 1 year. So when we are talking about the domestic income on production basis, it is what? It is the money value of what? Of all the goods and services produced within the domestic territory during a period of 1 year. I hope the definition is clear. What is domestic income? Domestic income is the sum total of the money value of all the goods and services produced within the domestic territory over a period of 1 year. On the basis of income, domestic income can be defined as it is the income earned by the factors in the form of wages, rent, interest, profit, etc. within the domestic territory over a period of 1 year. So on the basis of the income, domestic income means what? Domestic income is the sum total of the factor income in the form of wages, rent, interest, profit, etc. within the domestic territory during a period of 1 year. Now let us discuss the related aggregates of domestic income or the other variants of the domestic income. The domestic income has four variants. How many variants? Four variants are there. The first one is GDP-MP. Second is NDP-MP. Third is GDP-FC. And the last one is NDP-FC. So what are the variants of the domestic income? What are the aggregates of the domestic income? Domestic income is having four aggregates. The first one is GDP-MP. Second one is NDP-MP. Then GDP-FC. Then NDP-FC. GDP-MP means what? It means gross domestic product at market price. NDP-MC means what? It means net domestic product at market price. GDP-FC means what? It means gross domestic product at factor cost. NDP-FC means what? It means net domestic product at factor cost. NDP-FC or the domestic income, both are the same thing. So whenever we are talking about the domestic income, we are talking about this variants of the domestic income. I hope the point is clear. Now let us discuss one by one the different variants of the domestic income. The first variant that we will discuss is gross domestic product at market price. Let us see what it means. Always remember, gross domestic product at market price is the market value. Since I am talking about the GDP-MP, market price, so it means what? It is the market value of all the goods and services produced within the domestic territory during a period of 1 year. So what is GDP-MP? GDP-MP means the market value of all the goods and services produced by the production unit within the domestic territory of a country during a period of 1 year. In the domestic product at market price, certain things are very important. Here we can say gross is there, domestic is there, product is there, and the market price is there. Let us see what is the meaning of the gross. Listen, when we are talking about the gross means what? Gross means, here the gross means that the provisions of the depreciations are not considered. So in the case of the gross, provisions of depreciation is not considered. I hope gross is clear from the determinants of the from this variance. Gross means provisions of the depreciation is not considered. Here the domestic means what? Domestic means it includes, this variant includes goods and services located within the domestic territory of the country. So under the domestic, what it means? It means only those goods and services should be considered which are located within the domestic territory of the country. I hope the gross is clear, domestic clear. Now let us see. Here the product means only the final goods and services should be considered. Under GDP MP, only final goods and services should be considered. We will not consider the intermediate goods and services. Clear? Here the next thing that we can see is the market price. The question is, what is market price? Market price means at the time of considering the value net indirect taxes should be considered. The question is, what is this net indirect taxes? Net indirect taxes means indirect tax minus subsidies should be considered. Indirect tax means what? It means the VAT, the GST which the producer has to pay should be considered. And subsidy means what? It means the financial help which the government is giving. So when I say net indirect taxes, it means the net value which the producers has actually paid. When I say net indirect taxes, we know that some part of the indirect tax is paid by the government in the form of the subsidies. So at the time of valuing the goods and services, we should consider only that indirect taxes which the consumer himself or the producer himself has paid. So that is why we only consider the value of the net indirect taxes. We never considered indirect taxes, rather we consider net indirect taxes. We only consider that part of the tax which is paid by the producer or the consumer. Now let us discuss the next thing. Next variant. The next variant is gross domestic product at factor cost. The question is, what is this net gross domestic product at factor cost? It refers to the gross money value of all the final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a period of 1 year. Always remember, since I am considering the factor cost, so it is the gross money value. It is not the market value. It is what? It is the money value of all the goods and services produced within the domestic territory of the country. The question is, how we can calculate the GDP FC? We can calculate the GDP MC. We can calculate the GDP FC from GDP MP. How? By deducting the net indirect taxes. I hope the point is clear. Now let us discuss the next aggregates of the domestic income. The next aggregate of the domestic income is NDP MP. The question is, what is this NDP MP? It refers to the net market value. Since it is NDP MP, so what it means? It means it is the net market value of all the final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a period of 1 year. So what it means? It means it is the net market value of all the goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country. What it means? It means NDP MC means what? It means from the GDP MP, if we deduct depreciation, we will get NDP MP. I hope the determinant is clear. So it is the net market value. When I say it is the net market value, it means from the market value we have excluded the depreciation. Let us see the next aggregates of domestic income. The next aggregate of domestic income is NDPFC. NDPFC is not other than the domestic income. So what is this aggregates of the domestic income? This aggregate of the domestic income is nothing but the domestic income itself. We can say it is the net money value of all the goods and services produced within the domestic territory during a period of 1 year. How we can calculate it? Let us see. From the GDPFC, we have to deduct the depreciation, and after deducting the depreciation, we will get domestic income. I hope the point is clear. Listen, we have seen the different aggregates of the domestic income. We have also seen what is gross, what is domestic, what is product, and what is market price, what is the factor cost, that we have already seen. Clear? Now the important thing is how we can easily convert the gross into net, the national into domestic, the market price into factor cost. There is a formula, there is a trick, there is a concept by applying to which we can easily calculate the desired aggregates. What is that concept? That concept is this one, GN. The name of this concept is Germany ने नहीं दी मुझे Ferrari. What is the name of this concept? G means Germany, N means ने, N means नहीं, D means दी, M means मुझे, F means Ferrari. Plus minus, plus minus, plus minus. That is for the depreciation. That is for the depreciation. That is one pair. Then NFIA, NFIA. That is the second pair. In the case of the domestic income, we never uses the second pair. Then we are having NIT. NIT means net indirect taxes. What it means? It means indirect tax minus subsidies. So the third pair is market price and factor cost. The first is gross and net, and the third is market price and factor cost. The second block we are not using it, so I will not discuss the second block over here. So how we can easily convert one aggregates to another aggregates? By applying this concept, that is Germany ने नहीं दी मुझे Ferrari. Germany ने नहीं दी मुझे Ferrari. Here G means gross, N means net, N means national, D means domestic, M means market price, F means factor cost. How we can learn it? We can learn it by this concept, that is Germany ने नहीं दी मुझे Ferrari. I hope the point is clear. We learn how to use this concept. Now let us discuss the concept of the Germany ने नहीं दी मुझे Ferrari in detail. Here G means gross, N means net, N means national, D means domestic, M means market price, F means factor cost. G means depreciation, N means depreciation. Always remember, if we have to convert gross to net, what we have to do, what you are seeing over here, we have to deduct depreciation. Or if we have to convert net into gross, then what we have to do, we have to add depreciation. So in the first block, we have to take the effect of the depreciation. Clear? The second is net factor income from abroad. The second block we will not use, that will only be used at the time of calculating the national. Here we are discussing the domestic, so I will not touch the second block. The third block is that is of net indirect taxes. Here M means what? Here M means market price and F means factor cost. If we have to convert market price into factor cost, what we have to do? We have to deduct net indirect taxes. And if we have to convert factor cost into market price, what we have to do? We have to convert factor cost into market price. Then what we have to do? What you can see over here, we have to add net indirect taxes. Always remember, here the net indirect taxes mean what? It means indirect taxes minus subsidies. Indirect taxes means service tax, VAT, GST, and subsidies mean what? It means the financial help given by the government. I hope the point is clear. The concept of Germany ne nahi di mujhe Ferrari is clear. Now I try to see how we can apply it. Suppose This aggregate of the domestic income is given to us, and we have to calculate. So what we have to do? Gross domestic product at market price is given, and we have to calculate gross domestic product at factor cost. The question is how we can calculate. We can calculate it by applying the concept of Germany nahi di mujhe Ferrari. Let us see how. Here what we have to do, G is same, D is same, product is same. We only have to convert MP into FC. So what we have to do, in the GDP MP which is given to us, what we have to do, you can see over here, if we have to convert M into F, then we have to deduct net indirect taxes. So from the given information, we have to deduct net indirect taxes. When we deduct the net indirect taxes, we will get the desired aggregates of the domestic income, that is GDP FC. I hope the point is clear. Let us see another example. Try to understand it by putting another example as well. Suppose GDP MP is given. What is given to you? GDP MP. What we have to do? We have to calculate, suppose, NDP MP. That we have to calculate, and that is given to us. So what we will do? GDP MP is given. So in the given information, what we have to do? We know that in the given information, if we have to convert G to N, what we have to do? As you can see over here, we have to deduct depreciation. You can see when we have to convert gross into N national, what we have to do? We have to deduct depreciation. When we have to convert gross into net, what we have to do? We have to deduct depreciation. The same thing we will do. So what we will get? We will get GDP MP. Then we will get what? We will get NDP MP. I hope the point is clear. Try to understand it by putting one more example. Suppose GDP MP is given to you, and we have to calculate domestic income. When I say domestic income, what it means? It means NDP FC. So what is the given information we have? We have GDP MP. So firstly, what we have to do? Firstly, we have to convert G into N. As you can see over here, when we have to convert G into N, what we have to do? We have to deduct depreciation. So we have rectified G and we have converted G into N. Now another thing that what we have to do is, we have to convert MP into FC. To convert MP into FC, what we have to do? You can see over here, we have to deduct net indirect tax, NIT. Okay, let's deduct it. After considering, we will get what? We will get domestic income. I hope the point is clear. 3 marks questions can be asked from this particular topic. We have to convert one determinants into another determinants. Try to take one more example so that the things become much more clear. In fact, suppose domestic income is given to you. What is given to you? Domestic income. And we have to calculate, suppose, gross domestic product at factor cost. That we have to calculate. So what is given to you? Domestic income is given to me. And what we have to do? We have to calculate net into gross. As you can see over here, if we have to convert net into gross, then what we have to do? You can see we have to deduct. We have from net to gross, what we have to do? We have to add depreciation. Here obviously you can see what we are doing. We have to add depreciation. So after adding the depreciation, we will get gross domestic product at factor. Dear viewers, that's all I have in this video. If you like the video, please spread the video as much as you can so that more and more students should join the class. Dear viewers, we have made this videos with all the hard works. It's a request, please subscribe the channel and don't become miser. Please press the bell icon. One thing more, during this pandemic time period, we are supposed to be inside our house. And always remember, don't forget to wear mask. Om Shanti.